Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. This video is going to be slightly different from my usual videos. As most of you know, I'm moving soon. We're actually moving in, like 2 days. So I had a few people reach out to me and ask me, how do I pack my scrapbook supplies? How do I pack my craft room? And really, it's been a challenge. Now, I should mention that this is not the first time that I'm moving. I've moved in the past. I've moved my entire craft room in the past. So I am a little bit familiar with this. So it's not so new and it's not so weird for me. But there are some tips and tricks that I kind of wanted to share. Now, this is just basically things that work for me. These things might not work for you. I wanted to mention that I'm moving outside the city, outside the state. I'm actually moving outside the country. So this, I don't have the luxury of renting a truck and putting everything on a truck. I had to downsize significantly. I had to pick the things that I really loved. So that was my process. Before I show you how I packed everything, I wanted to mention the 3 stages that I went through to pick the supplies that I wanted to take and keep. So when I was done with all of my projects, I just took a good look at all of my craft room supplies, and I thought about what I wanted to take with me. What are the true supplies that I can't live without? What are some of the stamp sets that are my favorite? Also, what are some of the stamp sets that I like, but maybe I've never used them? Because let's be honest, we all have things like that. So I took a very hard look at my supplies and I separated them into 3 piles. And the piles where this is something that I can't live without, it must come with me, I must pack it with me, be it into a suitcase or into my carry-on. There's also a pile of products that I really love and that I use often, but I don't necessarily need them right now. So those supplies I already packed and I shipped them. It took me a couple of boxes. I think I shipped about 5 or 6 boxes worth of supplies. So these are already out of the door. And then there was a pile of things that I just had to part and I had to say goodbye to because I didn't want to kid myself. I knew that I wouldn't have the time to use them, or maybe I've used that stamp set so many times that it's no longer dear to me. So I purged a lot and I gave it to friends. I took some stuff to Goodwill. So I just basically separated all of my things into 3 pieces, into 3 piles. And that's how I made this huge craft corner more manageable. And basically I broke it into pieces that I was able to deal with easier. Okay, enough rambling. So like I mentioned, I already shipped a ton of supplies. And what I have here with me packed into a suitcase, and I should mention that I'm traveling with 2 suitcases. My husband is also traveling with two suitcases. I also have a backpack right here. That's my carry-on piece and also my purse. So the backpack that I have here, this is a Love Pro. I don't know how to pronounce this. This is a specialty backpack for photographers or videographers. So this is a backpack that's been designed especially to carry your gear. There's like a compartment for your laptop or tablet or whatever. There's a piece for the tripod. This is not a tripod. And then right here, there is a section where you can put your camera, your video camera, and things like that. And we have 2 backpacks like this. I have a smaller version and my husband has a larger version. So here in my backpack, I'm going to have my camera and some of my video filming equipment because that's what I need and use on a daily basis. But also I had some other compartments in here and I decided to utilize them and put my Copic markers. Now, Copic markers is something that I hold very dear. This is an expensive tool, so I didn't want to ship them. I also did not want to put them in a suitcase on an airplane because, well, who knows, what might happen. The suitcase might get lost, and obviously I'm not going to get compensated if the airline loses my luggage for all of the Copic markers. So here I have my Copic markers. Also, because I love to color, I have my Polychromos colored pencils in here. These are not all, these are just some. And I have more in my other purse. So basically, In my carry-on, I have everything that's the most expensive, the most dear to me, something that I wouldn't want to replace no matter what. Here at the top, I have some more space, and I'll be putting some other supplies here that I'm unable to fit into the suitcase. So I'm almost packed. I'm like 99% packed, but I still have a few pieces here and there that I need to like put into different suitcases. So the other pieces that go into my carry-on backpack are my headphones, and I also have my microphone and my recording device. So these are going to go with me on the plane in the carry-on. In another personal bag, I guess that's what they call it, I have some more pencils. So these are my fiber Castel pencils, and I store them. This is also a bone folder. So I store these in a plastic case from Alt News clear blocks. I do have my clear blocks, but they are in one of the suitcases. So I took the clear blocks out and I put the pencils because this is a nice hard case and I know they're not gonna, I don't know, break or things like that. And also down here at the bottom, I have my watercolor palette with my Daniel Smith watercolors and also my water brushes in here. So that's coming with me on an airplane. Another thing to note when you guys pack, especially if you're taking things with you on an airplane, just to check the guidelines of an airline that you're flying with to make sure that the things that you are taking are allowed to be taken on an airplane. Now this is my suitcase with everything else. So I have my clothing here, I have my makeup, my shoes, so it's a mishmash. So it's not just the craft supplies. And this has been sort of like a challenge, you know, fit your life into a suitcase. In a way, I love to move because then I get to purge and I really get to take things that are dear to me. But it's also hard because, you know, we all accumulate so much stuff and we love that stuff and we don't want to get rid of it. So it's kind of been a challenge, you know, you just have to decide, do I want this or do I want to get rid of it? So here, obviously, I have my Tonic Aqua Shimmer pen, can't go without it. I have my Nuvo drops in white, and I also I took some other colors of the Nuvo drops. I shipped some, like some of my less used colors, but then the other colors that I use all the time, I put them in one of the other suitcases. I also have my VersaFine inks. So I have black, and this is the vintage sepia. And when I packed, I try to put all of my liquids, all of my inks into like little baggies so that, you know, in case the ink pad breaks, I'm not going to get ink all over my clothing and all over my suitcases. Then here I have my Tim Holtz stamp platform. And I mentioned that I couldn't take like all of my Misties and everything. What I did end up taking is the stamp platform and the mini Misty. I did not take the large Misty that had to stay behind. So in here I have a stamp. I decided to keep it there just because, you know, it was easier. And then I have one of the rulers from the Misty Corners in here as well. Then also here I have layers and layers. There's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 layers of the Simon Says Stamp inks. And I just basically put the inks in Ziploc baggies and I just layered them like this in a suitcase. So for instance, I put like clothing on the bottom of the suitcase. So there's like a little bit of a cushion, and then I layered the inks like so. And because I use Simon Says Stamp inks a lot, I really like those inks. Those had to come with me in a suitcase. I did not want to ship them, and I certainly did not want to purge them. So that's that. Then also here, I have some of my most recent and also some of my most favorite stamps from Simon. And I have piles like this in another suitcase of stamps from, oh my gosh, Pretty Pink Osh and Hero Arts and some other manufacturers. I also have my scissors. These are my favorite scissors for fussy cutting. If I don't have a coordinating die or if I need to cut something out with scissors, these are the scissors that I use all the time. So these have to come with me. Here's another suitcase. Now this one, like I mentioned, this one is not filled to the brim. I still have room here. And I plan to put the other supplies that are sitting on the desk over there. So these will come here. And basically, this is like a mishmash of things. I have a cat toy here, obviously, because, well, that's what one must pack when one has cats. But I also have my photography props in here. These are things that I've accumulated over the years that I didn't want to leave them behind. So I have like a big bag of artificial florals, and then I have another bag of some smaller props. I have Easter eggs in here because, you know, one must have those. And then I have envelopes from Simon because I love to use those to style my photographs with. And then behind, I have several photo boards that I use for my photography. Here I have more inks, so these are Hero Arts. I didn't have any more Ziploc baggies like that, so I just wrapped them in like this plastic wrap. And these are going to go like this. I also have another watercolor palette and then some more stamps and things like that. So I just packed the basics. Also in one of my suitcases, I think I have my scoring board from Martha Stewart because that's the thing that I use all the time. Now I wanted to mention things that I'm not taking with me. I'm not taking my die cutting machine because I just bought another one and I shipped it. Like, I didn't want to have to pack this one and pay for shipping. It was just easier for me to buy a new one and to ship the new one. Also, I did the same thing with my paper trimmer. I'm not taking it because it's a big and bulky item and I don't want to like have to carry that with me. And same goes for the cutting mat. I think I'm not going to go off the grid. We're moving on Tuesday. We're filming this on Saturday. I'm not going to go off the grid for like a month. I'm hoping the move will take me about a week to get settled. So I should be back with more videos, more projects. I have some projects that I will be sharing while I'll be traveling. So be sure to check my blog for new inspiration. So I think that's it. Thanks for watching me and thanks for joining. Questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to reply. I don't know how much time I'm going to have, but anyhow, thanks. Love you guys. Bye.